I'm DeborahMatney from Porter Elementary in Johnson County, home of the 2016 state champs, just saying, in football. My problem of practice was that I had taught social studies in the 5th grade level for 10 years, and then I moved over to Johnson County and started teaching 3rd and 2nd grade. And I noticed that when I was teaching social studies, that when my kids got up there, they knew Christopher Columbus, the Pilgrims, and Martin Luther King. That's it. And they thought he freed the slaves. So, it was just like, oh, no, they don't know any social studies. So when I got down there, I realized it's not that they were trying to spite me as a teacher. They just did not have the time to teach it all. And so I decided that an independent study might work. So I said, I was going to try to find a way that my kids could sit down and monitor themselves and work on themselves and just teach themselves social studies, basically. I would teach the lessons, but then they would do the practice and all this stuff. So go ahead to the next one. All right. So traditionally, most of our time is used with math and reading, and we squeeze in at science when possible. But setting aside time for social studies is so important, especially when you're tested at the 5th grade level and nobody else is ready. So that's my son. You can go on to the next one. Okay, the strategy I implemented was to use QR codes. And what I did was I sat down with the 25 standards for 3rd grade social studies. And knowing what I know about, what's going to be taught in 5th grade, I thought, well, they'll need to know this to build on that. So what I did was I started with an actual pre-test on Edmodo. And then the kids, that was their main pretest. And then they had these files. There's 25 of them. And they're based on government, economics, culture and society, history. And so when they open it up, they'll click on it. They have a little pretest they can take for this subject. And then when they open this up, they'll go to this QR code. And the QR code will lead them to things like a video on local government, or then it'll lead to a reading passage on local government, a local government read aloud in iCurio, a brain pop game, different kinds of videos, tests, flashcards, different things. So once they get finished with this, they take the post-test on Edmodo for this level. It matches the number that's on here. It matches that number. They take the post-test for this, and then they show their success rate on Edmodo. And it has the quiz, and it shows all the information on, who got what and how many. Go ahead to the next one. So with my grant, I received 4 mini pads, and then I had these on hand, so I just made these. Are really easy to make. And I've got, if you didn't know how to make QR codes, I've got information on how to make those, because I had to teach myself. I was just like, I don't even have a clue how to make them. Go ahead to the next one. My question was, will an independent and interactive social studies instructional approach used by project-based learning, QR codes, and technology help students learn, apply, and synthesize knowledge better than using standard instructional methods? Which we still do the teaching. You still have to teach it, but this will help with the independent practice. Okay. This is the pre-test. I used Edmodo for all the testing because at first I was going to use just this, but then I couldn't get the results as fast. So I was just like, and then somebody else would be like, well, I can't take my test because they've still got their pre-tests and you haven't graded that. And I'd be like, okay, well, let's just do Edmodo. So when I changed it over there, well, they started out and their score was 35%. They knew 35% of, the questions that were on the pre-test. Go ahead. And that's just my pretty kids. And so during the day, and mostly we have Technology Tuesday is what we call it, because we get the Chromebooks on Tuesday. And that's when they were able to do this the best, because they were just like, oh, can I get a social studies file? And I'll be like, yeah, go ahead and do what you need to do. Go ahead and do the next one. Okay. Then I compared my results with the original pre-test with the results of the final pre-test. And I said, well, if 83% of my kids can get 70% or higher, I'll consider this successful. And go to the next one. Oh wait, that was just thrown in there. And as you can see, that this is the pre-test and that's the post-test, and it was very successful. One child did not get up to the 60 or the 75%, but her score increased 55 points or 55%. So I felt like that was pretty successful. You know, she didn't do very well at all, and then she did awesome. So, I mean, compared to what she was. I was thinking this could be with any subject area. Any subject area you need to do extra practice in. It could be anything. ELA, math, science, anything could be used to do these with. And I've given the directions, so if anybody wants to know how to do them. And I think that's it. Any questions?
Not have a problem anyway, but on Technology Tuesday, kids, they're ready to go, engaged.
Oh my goodness, it's complete engagement. That was my professional goal, was engagement of my students. And they're more engaged with that. And on Technology Tuesday, I don't just say, okay, here's the Chromebooks, do what do you want with them. I have a specific list that they have to go by, and I've got it checked off as they go. And, you know, I mean, I'll be going, you did not do 3 read theories. Where's your read theory? And they'll be going, okay, I'm doing it right now, you know. But they have their specific list, and they're very, you know, competitive. My first through is so competitive. And they will try their best to get, you know, I've got 3 read theories, and I've got this successfully done, and I've got 100 on 3 of them, or, you know, so I don't have to sit there and motivate them constantly and say, you got to do, you know, you got to
actually monitor themselves.
Yes, they do, and I don't have any problem with that. You know, and we encourage things by posting scoreboards and things like that. That helps better than anything. If you've got a scoreboard up, they're going to be going, well, Braxton's got this, I've got to beat that, you know, so they're pretty good about monitoring themselves. And especially with this, you know, it's kind of like I check it on, you know, the end of the day, and I'm going, you did not finish yours, you have to do yours tomorrow. You know, most of them, they don't, you know, they'll fight to get these. They'll be like, can I do this today? And so they're really good about it. Any more questions?
Oh, about how many interactive files did it take for the whole class?
Well, what we do is one for each subject, and then there's 25 of them, and they might work on them at the same time, but most of the time they don't. They'll just go over each file, and they'll pick, you know, the one out that they know they've not done, and they've got a little check sheet over on the side that says what they've done and what they've not done. So they'll go, oh, I've not done 215 government or whatever. And so they'll just pick out one file at a time. It's not like you have to hand them out to the students. So it's one file per subject. Any more? All right, thank you.